喂，你今日飲咗未啊？
飲 orange juice？
青紅蘿蔔豬骨湯？
Coffee or tea or me？
飲橙汁？不如試下飲 coffee bubble tea 啦。
Welcome and welcome to our podcast, Coffee Bubble Tea. I'm your host, Colin, today, and with me I have Tiffany, Joyce, and Samson. Welcome.
Hi.
Hello.
So, today we have a very interesting topic that I found to be something we could talk about, something fun, something light. It's going to be about Asian superstitions. Now, the reason why I came up with this topic is I recently watched a skit by Wong Fu Productions on YouTube. And some of you may know Wong Fu Productions for their relatable, funny, touching, and memorable skits about their experiences growing up as Asian Americans with a Chinese cultural upbringing or background. So for those who haven't seen the video, it's about Asian superstitions. If you haven't watched the video, I highly recommend you check it out as well as some of their other videos.
我想講咧，你嗰日即係叫我哋睇嗰條片咧，我其實喺度睇嗰陣時，我有啲驚咁，知唔知？因為佢營造到好恐怖啊，我覺得有啲因為我係點啊？我覺得汪夫以外，亦識汪夫唔會嘅，跟住就會點發生啲乜嘢
Well, I watched it at like 6 a.m. in the morning before my husband and daughter woke up, but every time it screamed, I would like turn the volume down.
Yeah, so the video, if you haven't watched it, I don't really want to spoil it, but it's done in a way that's very creative, I guess, with some of that. So check it out if you haven't watched it. Now, I guess to start off, you know, I kind of, before I wanted to talk about it, I dove into what is superstition. Like, I never really thought about it too much, but in researching and doing a little bit of a dive, it generally means a belief in supernatural forces, such as fate, the desire to influence unpredictable factors, and a need to resolve uncertainty. In the way, individual beliefs and experiences drive superstitions, which explains why they are generally irrational and often defy scientific wisdom. Now, I think most of us have heard about some traditional superstitions when we were young, or maybe even now. Do you guys believe in superstitions, or do you not believe in them?
It impacts me.
It impacts you.
Yeah.
The supernatural forces.
It affects some of my decisions.
Okay.
Yeah.
我都係。
Really? Okay.
但我係咪信咧？我都唔知喎。我諗好 depends on 嗰樣嘢。
I think I'm more open to superstition and like, yeah, I like the way you defined it as, yeah, it does change the way I make decisions. So, yeah. But I think I also like to think about the rationale behind it. And it's like, is there a scientific reason why? So, yeah.
If there isn't any scientific explanation behind it, would it make it more or less like you would believe in it?
Then I try to make up my own scientific
我哋繼續頭先，我哋其實傾緊洗頭咯，個頭濕咗瞓覺，我哋可以繼續傾嘅而家。
Yeah, so what are some Asian superstitions that you remember hearing about? Do you know where it comes from? Was it just someone like telling you about it and then you just automatically believed in it? You know, what are some that you personally
I think it's more of like what people said to try to convince you that it's true, right? So like it's like, yeah, like as we were talking about like sleeping with your hair wet. I think, yeah, from a young age, I always had to blow dry my hair. And like, if my parents see me walking around with wet hair, they'd be like, why? Like, why didn't you blow dry your hair yet?
仲唔吹頭？
Yeah, exactly. And then you say, but I'm okay. And they're like, no, you'll get headaches. And then you'll be like, no, I don't have a headache. And they'll be like, when you're old, you'll get headaches. And so now every time I blow dry my hair, I have to say, it's for when I'm old. It's for when I'm old.
但係有少少似咧，即係點都佢要講到贏為止咁。
Yeah, I mean, I hear that a lot. It's like whenever we're doing something that's like superstitious or something that they believe in, they'll just be using that like excuse or arguments like, it's for when you're older, you know, right now you won't feel it or you won't see its
唔好
impact.
拗啦。
Yeah, it's like, okay, whatever, I'll just do it and be done with it, that kind of thing, right? Yeah. So, I went on the internet and I found some ones, as well as watching the video, just to get some ideas of some that maybe I grew up with or some that I actually never knew about. And maybe we can go over this just to see if you guys know exactly what it's about. Fan death theory. Any ideas or thoughts about what that superstition may be about?
No.
唔知
係點㗎？即係個風扇吹住個，定係整到你個頭？
Yeah, apparently.
Like Final Destination.
Something like that. Actually.
Oh, okay.
Something like that. Actually.
That's gruesome.
Yeah, I know. I didn't know it was a thing, but
no.
Apparently it's a popular theory in Korean society. And, I might be corrected in the comments and whatnot, but from what the internet tells me is that it's the alleged death of humans as a result of running an electric fan in a closed room with unopened or no windows, and it will cause harm and injury when you fall asleep. So, basically, if you leave your fan on at night, it has the potential to harm you or electrify you or something like that. And from what I understand, the fans in Korea, they have like an automatic setting where it basically turns itself off after a certain amount of time to, prevent the fan from going on and on and on.
And killing you.
And killing you, right?
So that's why. Okay.
但係我覺得呢個好真係正常咁樣諗，我唔知大家啦，但係我真係即係我開風扇咧，我係唔會成晚開住佢嘅，我一定係會校時間掣等佢熄。即係我諗佢呢個 idea 係，如果呢個風扇開咗佢可能8個鐘咁樣，其實佢個 machine 佢個 engine 係咯，
會 overheat
係咯，咁樣啊嘛，
maybe.
我嘅諗法係。
Or you mean like it's not the blade just chopping up the air around you?
係咯，非常。即係如果你話我要去 understand 呢一個嘅話，我覺得係咁樣咯。我又喺度 confuse 自己。
Yeah.
To justify why you can still sleep with your fan on.
但係呢個同中國人嗰個即係唔好吹住風扇瞓覺有冇 connection 咧？唔知。
Well, what's the concept behind that one?
嗰個又係頭痛咯。
頭風咯。
頭風啊 ！What is 頭風
？Headwind。
好，我哋揾一集揾個中醫嚟講。
都好喎，即係
awesome. Yeah.
我哋真係有頭風就會頭痛咯，所以濕頭髮應該係會有影響，但係我又唔覺得係應該唔係啩。
Just make sure you're not in a windy area with wet hair.
係啊。
OK， 即係同啱啱我哋講呢個又唔似係嗰個啫。
I think that's one that my mom keeps nagging me about is you gotta dry your hair, otherwise you're gonna get 頭風.
But I know in the winter time, if I walk out without a scarf and hat, I do get sick right away because the wind hits my head.
係啊，
Yeah.
所以我諗同呢個 fan death theory 應該係
有少少
似，但係又唔係咯。
OK。
Interesting.
不如去下一個啊，你嗰個。
Yeah.
我中意 rice 㗎。
Sure. So next one, not finishing your rice will mean you will marry someone with acne scars.
I heard that in my late teens, and I totally ate like
all
everything in my everything. My bowls are so clean when I eat them now.
So does your husband have any scars?
Not too many. But I should have looked closer at his bowl because he doesn't do a good job cleaning them.
最大問題咧，冇人真係夠膽去試下。
Yeah.
即係冇人專登留啲飯粒 to prove them wrong。因為我都掃晒啲飯粒。
Yeah.
You don't take that chance.
Oh, never want to take that chance. That's a very popular one too in our traditional Asian society, I think. At least.
But I think is it just parents who want their kids to wait 食晒啲飯啦 finish your bowl,
so.
And then you scare them by saying you'll marry someone.
Yeah,
acne scars.
I think it's just to say you don't want to be wasting food.
Yeah.
That kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
粒粒皆辛苦，成日都講。
Yeah， 都係嘅。
都係，可能係。
What if we rationalize it？ 即係如果你唔 爬晒啲飯咧，就對你揀男女朋友嘅眼光有影響啦。咁你就會變咗你中意一個有豆皮嘅人。Sorry, not scientific.
Couldn't you just choose somebody that doesn't have that to begin with?
Yeah.
Instead of going through that.
I'm not gonna try rationalize.
Maybe it's like a vision issue, right? Before there is glasses, it's like.
係喎，因為你睇唔到你啲飯。
You need a magnifying glass.
So you can't see if someone has acne or not, so you don't mind.
The first thing you should ask them is, did you eat all your rice when you were growing up?
唔係想問你有冇車有冇樓，你有冇食晒啲飯？
That's pretty jokes. Okay, great. Next one, chopsticks in rice. Now the idea behind this is sticking your chopsticks upright in that position in a bowl of rice.
Oh, I actually saw that at a funeral. Like chopsticks in the rice bowl. And I was like, oh, that's why we don't do it. Yeah.
但係呢個好大個先至知道。
Oh, okay.
But did you still ever do it when you were young?
Not really， 但係終於有一次做咗啦，跟住啲人真係話唔好咁樣。
Yeah.
我諗我唔係除咗飯之外麵嗰啲我都唔得，即係我諗我唔係迷信，可能係因為即係我。It's
a visual symbol. Yeah. I mean, my husband's not Chinese, and like I think he's done it once, and I was like, you can't. Yeah. That's how they carry on.
Great. So that one means basically a bad luck kind of symbol in our cultural society.
好似香啊嘛，係嘛？因為似
插香，
Yep. Incense. Okay, going to bed with your hair wet. We talked about this one earlier already. Could get sick, may get a cold. But I've also heard that you will go blind or insane from that. That's what the internet tells me.
可能都係頭風影響。
Wow, that's pretty.
Later in your life.
I'll worry about that after.
我諗係可能有啲父母咧講完都冇用，跟住佢就 up the extremity. Yeah.
Okay. I could totally see that.
Helpless parents.
Unlucky numbers or lucky numbers. So in our society, number 4 and the numbers 8 both sound like similar sounding Chinese pronunciations of other words.
我會㗎。
我都會㗎。
我之前個車牌咧係有8字嘅，因為即係我喺嗰個 Chinese 嘅 dealership 度咧，佢都會特登揀啲8字咧。跟住因為前一排即係要換車牌咧，咁就好 random 啦，佢哋俾一個，跟住我冇嗰個8字，我好唔開心。
Well, one time my aunt went to go buy a car, and for her license plate, she said no 4s and no 5s. And the person must have thought like, oh, want 4 and 5. And it was like, same.
Oh!
But she got it changed. She did not give it.
Oh, that's not good.
我成日諗咧，即係如果我有機會買個地方買樓啦，即係咁巧係454咁咧，可以平啲 ，I wouldn't mind it.
But then 賣嗰陣時都會要平啲賣咯。
咁就喺嗰度終老啦。以前另外一樣就即係當然唔好係凶宅啦，即係the house of a murder scene。咁嗰陣時都可以邊度平啲喎咁樣。Yeah.
This reminds me of a scene in the Wong Fu video where the person comes home and basically they got a 44 out of 50 on their calculus exam. And basically the guys are like, what did you get on your exam? Why did you get a B plus on your exam or whatever it could resemble, right? Like, why did you get a 4, 44, 80%, whatever on your exam? And then they're like, he was like, well, that's a good mark, right? Like, B plus or whatever. And the guy was like, why did you have to try so hard? Like, you shouldn't have gotten a 4 44.
You should have either got 39 or 50.
Yeah, but then your marks would be lower, and then the guy was like really confused. Like, I thought you wanted me to try, like, to get like A pluses and that kind of thing.
So I was born on the 4th.
Right.
You can't really escape that. So I've always, in my mind, had to justify I'm lucky because 4 is now my lucky number.
Right.
And then it was really funny because when I started to get to know my husband, I was like, yeah, like in Chinese culture, the 4 is not a really great number, but I was born on the 4th. And he's like, don't worry, my dad was born on the 13th.
Oh. Right.
And then so, yeah, like there's this like rationalization, like we turn these numbers into good numbers for us.
That's very true too. Even like I can think of like in Western cultural society, like the number 13 isn't a number that is usually equated to having luck. So like even if you live in a condo, that kind of thing, like the number 13 is just skipped on the elevator. Mm-hmm. Even though you may live on the 14th floor, you're actually not on the 14th floor because like you know that you live above.
Because it really affects real estate pricing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know that in some cities, the number 4 is actually like strucken out of any sort of like house numbers, like that sort of thing.
好 complicated。香港嗰度即係冇4樓啦，冇14樓，即係總之係好。
有個4字都。係
啊，跟住13都冇啦。
4字又冇啊，係啊。
係啦，因為要 accommodate 西人，即係13又冇啦。跟住四啊嗰啲層全部都冇晒。
咁即係30幾樓就變咗50幾啦。即係
it's uncommon， 但係13、14冇咧都幾 common 嘅。
Next one, gifting a clock to somebody as a present.
I just realized 我早幾年有個 uncle 咧，我諗佢真係好 westernized， 即係佢講廣東話咁。但係咧，佢有一日咧就買咗好多隻錶，跟住咧就送俾人。跟住咧我諗我都好 westernized 呢方面，因為咧佢送咗一隻俾我阿爸，跟住我阿爸就話唔要，就話俾埋我，咁我都唔知點解啊嗰陣時，即係我而家睇到你呢個 description 咧就知啦。
但係我諗錶同埋鐘
係喎，其實 it sounds different.
Yeah, it sounds different, but although it works the same. 都係話俾你聽幾多點。
Yeah, but 鐘同錶
係啊，同埋我聽過唔可以送鞋咯。
點解啊？
送走人咯，即係叫佢走啊咁樣嘅意思嘅。
哦。
係，但係我媽咪以前成日都買鞋俾我嘅喎。
Different, that's different.
Yeah, so I think giving a clock to somebody or a watch has the symbol of time running out, which is why they're often viewed as a rude gift, especially if it's given to seniors who are, maybe a little older and, maybe time is running out for them, I guess.
唔係啊，係因為中文係送鐘啊，送鐘嘅。
Oh, okay.
係點解啊？即係
送鐘真係
sending people to their
a funeral ritual.
Yeah. So 好似 I mean what you said makes sense too, but it makes too much. It really makes too much sense. I think the original it's simply the same sounding two words as in 嗰個送鐘 sending 啊點譯咧？
都唔識譯喎呢個。
好似係嗱，有人送鐘係一件好事嘅，but it also means that you're dying, right？ 係啦 ，but it's two different words。And 送鐘 what you said is the 鐘就係一個 clock 嗰個，但係嗰個 original saying 係嗰個終結嗰個鐘。
Okay. I guess the important thing here is that, be careful about sending a clock to somebody if, in case they are very superstitious. Next one, sleeping in front of a mirror.
我有得揀，我唔會。
唔會 sleep in front of a mirror。
我即間房入邊有塊大鏡，我都唔會。
How come? Any specific reason?
我諗我冇特別信唔信，但係我係覺得咁樣咯，怪怪地咁樣。有啲人話朝頭早見到自己嘅冇化妝嘅， 個我聽過最搞笑嘅。你朝頭早瞓醒嘅之後，口中面早嘅時候，見到自己嗰個冇化妝嗰樣。
Yeah.
係，我都唔中意。
Yeah, I don't.
I can say for this one, I also don't like to sleep in front of a mirror. Not because I'm afraid of looking at myself in the mirror with no makeup on.
我都唔係。
More so because I think I would get very scared of my own reflection at night. Like, you know, it's just like you're looking at the mirror and then you're going to see yourself. But what happens if you see something else in the mirror that's like...
而家好多鬼戲都有呢樣。
Seeing yourself in the mirror is fine, but what if you see something else at night, like a ghost or something? Like, you know, I would be like, oh! And then, like, even, like, sleeping in front of a TV, that kind of freaks me out too. Like, mainly because if it turns on or something at night itself. Like, maybe it's just like a lot of those movies you watch.
原來你喺 sofa 度瞓着 and your bum just press the remote control.
That could happen too.
Yeah.
That could happen too. But mainly to do with like things like that, I guess. That would release like.
咁你哋會唔會熄燈瞓覺？熄晒所有燈瞓覺？
Yeah, 一定。
I didn't do that before. I used to have a night light. Like for a very long time. Like up until like maybe grade 6 or 7.
Oh, well, yeah, me too. Like, as a kid.
That's not very long.
Yeah.
咁如果去到一個新嘅地方咧，即係你哋可能酒店咁樣，你 travel 嘅時候個酒店咧都熄晒燈。
Yeah,
先瞓
I
得
think
好
pitch dark
啲。
is good.
你都少少驚。
我唔會。
I would just
我
have
唔係因為怕黑，我係
冚親。
我諗我係會唔係我自己嘅地方或者唔係我熟悉嘅地方，我就唔
fully trust.
係啊係。
Yeah, it makes sense.
I would have my phone beside me and then like just grab it if I needed it. Okay. This one I found really interesting because I've never heard of this one. Maybe you guys have. If your ears itch for no reason, it means someone's talking to you.
And they're talking about you.
Oh, yeah, talking about you. So, I don't understand this one. I don't know if you guys...
但係香港唔係 ears itch 喎，係眼眉條喎。
係啊，
唔係打乞嗤
When
咩
you're jumping eyelids.
Jumping eyelids.
？Jumping eyelids 係有啲嘢會發生，唔係咩？
有人講你壞話，
我
眼眉條。
我以為係打乞嗤係啲人話，如果你連續打3次乞嗤，就係有人講緊你啊嘛。
I've heard that. I've heard that.
耳仔痕我冇聽過。
I've never heard of that. When I heard about it, I was like, what does that even mean? Like, I didn't understand it.
打乞嗤我覺得可能有，即係可能係 Japanese，因為我近排睇 Naruto 嘅時候，跟住佢有幾幕就係打乞嗤，跟住另外有人喺度講緊佢咁樣，真係有，即係可能係 Japanese。
你頭先講個眼眉條咧，都有聽講咩左胸右吉啦。跟住咧，即係由細到大聽咩左胸，如果你左邊就係左邊眼眉條就係有啲嘢唔好嘅發生啦，右邊就係有啲好嘅嘢發生啦。跟住之後大個嗰度聽就話，好 depends 幾點㗎？咁點啊？我最要睇幾點啊？
但係我發現呢度有冇嗰啲 Chinese calendar 一張就係一日嗰個咧？
有見過有。
係啦，咁咧即係下低寫住 today is good for what and not good for 咩咁樣。
風水啊
Yeah, 幾點就
English or only Chinese?
There's probably English versions, but 通常睇到嗰啲就中文啦。
咩移搬屋
係啦，
咩拜祭咁樣嗰啲
係啦，成日攞嚟講笑嘅，即係有陣時喂今日就去食乜嘢啦咁樣咁。
That's another topic.
Just for fun.
That sounds really fun.
Yeah.
Does it follow like I know in like for farmers there's like the daily almanac, the farmer's almanac, and it's like you should plant the seeds this day.
嗱，嗰樣有關嘅。I guess it's probably something rooted to astrology and agriculture, some connection between there. 咁佢話即係唔適宜葬禮，咁 I can imagine something with the weather or 氣候嘅。Yeah， 但係搬屋嘅話，即係如果落雨我都唔想搬屋嘅。即係我估，即係。係啦，即係有啲 superstition there。
咁呢樣嘢我突然間諗起，你哋信唔信嗰啲星座啊，或者嗰啲屬雞啊、屬猴啊嗰啲啊？
Oh, I love studying that stuff.
So you believe in it?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't believe in that stuff.
即係話咁你屬咩嘅犯太歲
Yeah.
我覺得
我會睇咯，但係你話我信唔信，我覺得我又唔係真係話好信，因為我覺得好唔同，因為佢太過 general， 即係話你屬狗嘅，哇大佬我成年1年365日入邊有幾多個人出世，係咪每個人都會一樣先？
Yeah, that makes sense.
係啊，就係同埋星座都係啊，即係你有一個 period 噶嘛，即係嗰個月嗰個月入邊都係太多人咯，所以我覺得啲人又話啊，你早2日生日同你嗰日生日嘅咧，雖然係同一個星座，但係其實會好唔同啊咁樣啲。咁係咪咁已經唔同嘅時候，咁係咪唔應該咁概括咁樣去講啊？係我會睇。
Yeah, that makes sense.
So going back to the one about the ears, I guess what I found out for this one is many people believe that if your ears itch for no reason, again, it means someone's talking about you. Now, here's where it gets a little funky. If it's about it's in your left ear, it means someone's talking about good things about you. And if it's on the right, it means someone's talking bad about you. I don't know where they came up with this, but, I guess it is what it is. I guess if your ears keep itching, it's probably time to clean it because it's probably a little, dirty. That's funny. Right. So those are some of the Chinese traditional superstitions that we may have grown up with or heard about only recently, but those are the sorts of things, superstitions that we talked about today. I'm sure there's many, many more. Some other Western superstitions that we may know about, that you may hear also is, touching wood. Is touching wood really good for you? I don't know. Encountering a black cat, walking under a ladder, the number 13, like we mentioned, a broken mirror means, having 7 years of bad luck, that kind of thing. Walking on a crack will break your mother's back. Throwing salt over one's shoulder, etc., etc. So, both cultures have different types of superstitions, which is so interesting.
touch wood 嗰個咧，我有特登去 search 點解啲人話 touch wood 或者 knock on wood 啊，跟住係真係有個即係所謂嘅古仔咧，佢哋就係話，因為 wood 入邊每一個 wood 入邊都會有一個精靈住咗喺入邊，真係 touch 佢摸佢嘅時候咧，就係話俾佢聽，你出嚟保護我啦，或者你出嚟幫我去solve
the problem
咁樣咯，即係呢個係嗰個啲人咁樣講啦，不過 it's up to 大家信唔信？
I guess if you believe there's rock spirits, you could also knock on a rock.
Yeah.
即係 touch wood 都唔夠喎，要 touch rock 啊！你
要 knock on the rock.
So fun. So yeah, we only covered the tip of the iceberg today's session. Hopefully, I know there's so many more, and hopefully we can talk about it some more. I'm so curious to even find out about where some of these historical origins behind where these came from. Who created it? How did it get passed down from generation to generation? Another question I have is, will we continue to pass these on to our kids as the things that we want them to be aware of? What are some of the superstitions that you as listeners believe in? Why do you believe them? Why do you not believe them? Share with us some funny and interesting superstition stories that you have come across. I think to conclude, having superstitions may or may not be a good or bad thing. It really depends on how you use it and in what context. For some, it can provide reassurances and help to reduce some anxiety in some people. And it might help to think that they can control the situation or consequences. So maybe developing good habits like not wasting food, or behaving in a certain way, that kind of thing. All in all, like everything, I think it should be done in moderation, and it shouldn't be treated like it's the end of the world if, something doesn't go the right way. Next time you break a mirror or see a black cat or something like that, don't worry about the bad luck. It's really just a trip on your mind. Thanks for listening to this podcast session. Please subscribe, comment, interact with us on Instagram. We would love to hear from you. Until next time, have a coffee bubble tea today.
Bye bye.